Hey guys, this is Rick. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to be trying to grow some moss. Now this is something I have no idea whether or not it's going to work, but I thought I would give it a go. Now, as you can see from my back garden there, I'm kind of going for a bit of an oriental theme, bit of a Japanese theme in places. And one of the things about Japanese gardens is, of course, they have a lot of rocks and a lot of boulders and things, but they also have, instead of grass, they have moss. Now, in that little rockery area that you see there, I'm actually going to be trying to grow some moss on some of those rocks, and possibly maybe even have a go at growing it on some of the little low walls in the back garden as well. Now, I've looked up how to do this, and one of the more popular methods is to get some already existing moss and turn it into a kind of like a moss slurry, like a moss smoothie, which you then paint onto the rocks and to the areas that you want the moss to grow. And then as long as you keep it damp, it should hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks start to grow on its own and then kind of, establish itself in the areas that you've painted it. Now, generally speaking, moss most of the time prefers to grow in shady areas, where there's a bit of moisture around, sort of damp areas, and it does quite well in there. But you can grow moss in pretty much any conditions. The key is getting your donor moss from the very similar conditions that you intend to grow it in. Now right here I've got a bag of moss which I pulled from my sister's front lawn. Now her front lawn, her front garden, is in sunshine most of the time. So this moss is actually kind of hardy enough to handle being in sunshine. That's the theory anyway. So let's have a little look at it without spilling it everywhere. So basically, yeah, this is... I just use a standard lawn rake and just got a load of this moss. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this moss and I'm going to turn it into this kind of moss smoothie and then paint it on those stones out there. So if you want to watch, I'll show you what I'm doing. Now, in order to make this moss smoothie, you're supposed to mix the moss and blend it with buttermilk, but unfortunately I don't have any buttermilk. However, I do have some milk powder, and I've basically read up that this stuff actually works just as well as buttermilk. So, like I say, it's a bit of an experiment for me. I have no idea whether this is going to work or not, but I will have a go using, I've got here dried skimmed milk powder. And I'm going to mix the two together with the moss, a bit of water in a liquidizer, and hopefully it'll make the slurry that we need. Now, in order to make this smoothie, I need a kind of smoothie maker. And I've got a smoothie maker here. I kind of use this for food as well, so I'm going to have to give it a really thorough wash when it's finished, but I'm sure it'll be okay, because I think you can actually disassemble these things and properly wash them, so I think it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to put let's put the milk in first. So I'm going to put a bit of milk powder in. I'm not entirely sure how much to use, so I'm just going to kind of put some in and see what happens. So I think probably that much. I don't want to put too much in because I'm guessing after a few days this stuff might end up stinking a bit. So I'm not going to put too much in. So I'm going to go for sort of about, I have no idea how much that is, but that's what I'm going for. And then I'm just going to grab some moss and stuff that in as well. A bit of grass in there with it, but I'm sure that'll be okay. And there we go. Got some weeds in there as well. I don't want those, just want the moss. Stuff smells lovely. Got a lovely fresh earthy smell. There we go. So we've got milk powder and a bit of moss. I'm going to top that up with some water. There we go. And let's just go for it, shall we? So let's make a smoothie out of that. There we go. Yummy. Okay, that's pretty runny, so I think I'm going to add in some more moss. Smells just like freshly cut grass, not too bad at all. So I'll get a load more moss in there. Because I think if it's too thin, when I paint it on, if any rain or anything comes along, it's just going to wash it off again. So let's make this fairly thick. That's better. Yeah, that looks much better. Let's just have a quick look. God, these things are so tight. There we go. There we go. That's nice and thick now. So, all I've got to do now is go and put that on the garden and see what happens. Now, because I've never done this before, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. I've decided to put it on the rock really thickly, basically because there's a lot of rain about at the moment, and I think a lot of this is going to get washed away. So I've put it on thickly, hopefully to give it a bit of a fighting chance to kind of take before it gets washed off. And I know a lot of the places that I looked at the information said about just painting it on like a kind of a paint. But I'm not entirely sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make up a second batch, and I shall put the second batch on this other rock, and then I'll just kind of leave it at that for now, and I'll come back in a few weeks' time and see what's what. So there we go, that's all I'm going to do today. Because this is an experiment, I'm not entirely sure how this outcome is going to turn out. What I'll do is I'll make another video in 2 or 3 weeks time, and we can come back to it and have another look and see what's what. In the meanwhile, if you are thinking about doing this, a little note of caution from my brother actually, who used to be a gardener, and he said if you introduce moss to your garden, you'll never get rid of it. So make sure if you're going to do something like this, it's absolutely what you want to do, and it's not going to kind of turn around and bite you on the arse at a later date if you decide you want to have a lawn or something. So anyway, that's it from me. I now have to go off and clean my NutriBullet. So I will say cheerio for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.